A very welcome to the next poem that we're going to cover, Die Dans van die Reën. This is an absolute classic in Afrikaans. Probably the first proper poem ever to be written in Afrikaans. How interesting is that? Eugene Marais, an absolute pioneer in establishing Afrikaans as a real language, the youngest language in the world. Did you hear me? The youngest language in the world. And you have to study its poetry. One of the richest collections of poetry in any language in the world, even though it's the youngest. Please help me to advertise my little business, okay? Afrikaans made simple. My name is Henk Fawel, F-A-W-E-W-L, admin at madesimplerange.com, 0832872427. That's my number. WhatsApp me. Please order these books in bulk for your school, or go to Takealot. Check in the link in the description. There's a Takealot link. Please share that on your WhatsApp status or on your WhatsApp groups so that I can make a little bit of money so I can feed my two little children, and so they don't starve and the clothes don't fall off their bodies. That's very dramatic. Anyway, even more dramatic is this poem. It's beautiful. Okay, Dans van die Reën, Eugene Marais. It's long and there's so much they can ask, but you know me, we don't work hard, we work smart. Okay, and we pick out, we brain read. Okay, I know what these IB people and these CAPS people and these examiners, I know how their brains work. Okay, I know because I have experience of 25 years in the business, so I'm going to tell you what they're going to ask, and I've picked it out with these yellow subtitles here, what they're going to ask, so that you don't have to work hard because you don't have time. You're busy. Okay, you have to be on Instagram, you have to watch YouTube shorts, you have to watch TikTok. I understand completely. So why do you want to spend so much time on Afrikaans? Okay, I'm saying that all tongue-in-cheek. You should not be spending so much time. Dans van die Reën. Let's read through this poem. There's so much going on here. So many metaphors and so much personification that it's like explodes in your face. All right. Dans van die Reën, lied van die vioolspeler Jan Konterdans uit die Grootfontein. It's the song of the violin player Jan Konterdans out of the big desert. Okay. Oor die dans van ons sister, oh the dance of our sister. Eers oor die bergtop loer sy skelm. First she peeks slyly or shyly over the mountaintop, en haar oge is skaam, and her eyes are shy, en sy lag saggies, she laughs softly, en van ver af wink sy met die een hand, and from afar she waves with one hand, haar armbande blink en haar krale skitter, her bracelets gleam and her beads glitter. Saggies roep sy, softly she calls. Sy vertel die winde van die dans. She tells the winds of the dance that is about to come. En sy nooi hulle uit, want die werf is groot en die bruilof groot. She invites them because the yard is large and the wedding is great. Die groot wild jaag uit die vlakte. The big game charges out of the plains. Hulle dam op die bulttop. They come to a halt on the hilltop. Wyd rek hulle die neusgate. They flare wide their nostrils. Sniffing. Okay? En hulle sluk die wind and they drink the wind. En hulle buk om haar fyn spore op die sand te sien. They bend down to see her fine tracks in the sand. Die klein volk diep onder die grond hoor die sleep van haar voete. The small folk deep under the earth hear the dragging of her feet. Ooh, whoopsie. Let's move that down a bit. Okay. En hulle kruip nader en sing saggies. And they creep closer and they softly sing, our sister, you have come, you have come. Ons sister, jy het gekom, jy het gekom. En haar krale skud and her beads shake. En haar koperringe blink in die wegraak van die son, and her copper rings gleam in the vanishing sun. Op haar voorkop is die vuurpluim van die bergier. On her forehead is the flame plume of the mountain vulture. Sy trap af van die hoogte. She steps down from the height. Sy sprei die valkeros met al twee arms uit. She spreads the grey kaross with both arms wide. Die asem van die wind raak weg. The breath of the wind disappears. O, die dans van ons sister. Oh, the dance of our sister. Okay, so there's a pretty cool translation. What is going on here? Okay, it is a pretty busy poem, as you can see. I don't know where to put my face. Anyway, there. Let's just go. No, that won't work. Let's move this whole thing down there. Cool. So first thing here is to, I thought this would be first, Lied van die vuurspeler Jan Konterdans uit die Groenwoestyn. This subtitle. So this gives us the setting, the milieu. You can use that word, it's French, so you can use it in English and Afrikaans. Jan Konterdans was die eerste Khoi man. He was the first Khoi bushman, Khoi man, who made a 4-snare guitar, a 4-string guitar, with honey badger sinews. Okay, ratelsiening. I'm not 100% sure of this source, and I couldn't find anything. So I hope this is correct, but I'm pretty confident. Okay, just check with your teacher. And hy is part, hy is deel van, soos put that, hy is deel van die San wat in die woestyn woon. He's part of the San people who live in the Kalahari Desert. Up until this day, interestingly, they were the first people in southern Africa. There were no other people, only San. If you go back 50,000 years, the only people you'll find in the whole of the southern part of Africa is the San people. Okay. So the question is Jan then acting as the narrator here? Tree Jan op as die verteller of die spreker? I say narrator because it sounds kind of like a story, but in a poem it's always the spreker. Okay. So we could argue that Jan Konterdans, this guy, he's the one talking in the poem, explaining what is going on here. Okay. So, die groot woestyn that they refer to there, they could ask this, that is the Kalahari woestyn. So if they ask who's the narrator, you can say, it's this guy. Okay. But let's go back to the title now. I'm just going to draw because the title is there, right? There. Okay, so the title is rich in meaning. Die dans van die reën. So it's clearly a personificatie of the rain. The rain can't literally dance, only people can dance. And we later see that the dancer is called the sister, the biological sister. It's not like a church sister or a friend sister. Okay, it's a biological sister of nature, of all these animals, including the narrator, he sees the rain as his sister. Die hele gedig gaan oor die metaforiese dans voor die reën oor die woestyn uitsak. So this is a whole thing. This whole poem is about this metaphorical dance or party or wedding that takes place before the rain comes. Because look, I say here, reën is baie scarce in die woestyn. It's very rare that it rains in the desert. So when it rains, it's a massive event. Okay, I live in KwaZulu-Natal. When it rains, we drop our heads and we're like, oh, it's raining again. But in the Kalahari woestyn, it's a massive event. Okay. I say hier, al die natuurelemente verwelkom die verligting wat die reën bring. Let me just put that in. Wat die reën bring. There. If I can just get there. There we go. Okay, so they all welcome the rain. That's what this whole thing is about. Who is the ons? Ons sister. The dance of our sister. It's on one level, right? It's the narrator, Jan Konterdans, and his folk, his people, right? His family, his tribe, okay? The son. But you know, on a different kind of level, the narrator is really also nature. Okay, look, the San people are as close as people can get to nature, essentially. Okay, but you can also say the narrator are all the elements of nature, al die elemente van die natuur. So that could be the ons. Everybody in nature. Nature is dependent on rain, completely dependent on rain. By extension, you can say dependent on God, because of this idea that God makes it rain. Okay, so that's an extension of that idea, if you like that. Use it, don't use it, it's not super important. They also, check there, they write sister with a capital S. Why? Okay, there's I left out the most obvious one. There's a noemnaam. Okay, it's what they call a sister. So you have to use a capital letter. But also, it beklemtoon. Wow, I'm dyslexic. Look at that. Beklemtoon, liefde. It emphasizes the love that there is between nature and rain. It's a inseparable love. Okay, it's a dependency, complete dependency on rain. What else does this desert need? Sunshine. Well, it's got a lot of bloody sunshine. They could do with more rain. Interesting one that I just picked up by myself is the rain is female. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting? Why is it why is the rain a woman? Why didn't they just say my brother? The rain, my brother is coming. It doesn't quite have the same ring to it, does it? In the first place, instinctively we kind of feel it's a woman. Why? This is why. Die vrou is die gewer van lewe. The woman is the giver of life. Only a woman can give birth. Okay. You might see some other things on social media, but I promise you, only a woman can give birth. Net soos die reën. Just like the rain, the only thing that can give life is rain and sunshine. That's it. Nothing else can give life. Okay? And, right. Then, there's clear, like, beautiful progression in the poem. So picture the storm coming from far away. Or oge. By the way, oge is an old form of oe, O-E with 2 dots on the E. It's old Afrikaans. Look, this is when Afrikaans started, for goodness sake. So don't expect it to be sounding like what you read in Donkerweb, okay, or Lense langs staan skoene. It's not the same thing. Okay, haar oë is skaam. Her eyes, why does it do that? Her eyes are shy. First of all, she laughed softly. So this is sort of picturing the storm in the distance, and you can hear the rumblings of a thunderstorm. And animals are smart, right? Because when they hear there's a rumbling, they're like, oh, it's going to rain. It's going to rain. I hope it rains. I hope it rains. Everybody gets excited. Everybody gets geared up for this dance, this party, this wedding. Okay. So I say that loer skelm, die reenstorm bou op in die verte. There's S alliteration, where lag saggies, oë skaam, die suising van die wind. Sy vertel die winde van die dans, sy nooi hulle uit, want die werf is groot en die bruilof groot. Loer sy skelm. Okay, so there's lots of S alliteration. So that could indicate the sound of the wind, right? There's wind whipping over the sand, and it creates expectation of rain. There, sy lag saggies, that's die rumbling van die donderweer. So laughing softly is the rumbling of the thunder in the distance, right? It's saggies. The thunder is far away. So they could ask you, how do we know it's far away? Because she's laughing softly. Okay. Then you have this interesting thing here, inkeping. And now, I don't know if this is 100% correct. Line 3, 4, and 7. How many spaces exactly you need there before the sentence starts in 3, 4, and 7. Because to be honest, it differs from source to source. So I don't know what the original looks like. I don't have the original. I think very few people have. If you do have, please comment and tell me. But you see there's inkeping, there's spacing there. You see that spacing there? Okay, why is that functional? Well, it's extremely functional. Dit dui op hoe die storm oor die vlakte skuif. So if you've ever seen a storm coming out of the distance, it moves, right? Goes left, goes right. Then you think, oh, it's going to miss us. No, it's not. It's coming towards us. Oh, it's shifting away. Here it comes. And you might even be able to see 2 or 3 storms in the distance at once. If you can see far enough, or if you're in a position or a place where you can see far enough. So that's the function of that inkeping. I would definitely ask that. Okay, I'm just going to, I hope you don't mind if I take the English away for a bit, because I can't see what's going on here. Alright, let's do that. Wink met een hand, en van ver af wink sy met een hand. She waves with one hand. Die weerlig flits, een flits op 'n slag. So the lightning goes one strike at a time, like wink met een hand. And I just remembered, you know, when I was exercising this afternoon, I was thinking about wink with een hand, and what my Afrikaans lecturer said 20 something years ago. She said this, and how cool is this? This was Heidi de Villiers. Heidi de Villiers. What a beautifully incredible lecturer, incredible woman. Okay. She also said this. It could refer to the blades of long grass doing this in the wind. Okay. Die gras se halms. Wow. How do I remember this after 20 something? What? 20. Okay, hang on. 20 years. 20 years ago. Gras se halms waai heen en weer, to and fro in the wind. In die wind. How beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Okay, thank you, Heidi de Villiers. And then armbande and blinkkrale. So there they talk about her armbands and her beads. Okay, shining. That's to show the maybe perhaps the sun reflecting or the lightning. And you might see both at the same time in the desert, just like everywhere else. It's lightning and the sun shining. It's like, well, what weather is this? But it's functional. But to me, the interesting part of the armbands and the beads, and later on, it's the koperringe, krale, those things. Okay, so what's interesting about those references or those metaphors or comparisons, vergelykings. What's interesting about those vergelykings, it's things that the San people would know. Okay, you can't in this poem say, oh, the lightning is like the Tokyo city lights. It's got no, the speaker, the narrator has got no reference, doesn't know what it would be wrong in the poem. Okay, so the armbands, armbande en krale, juwele wat eie is aan die San mense. They know this. Hulle die vergelyking. So it's a comparison, vergelyking. Hulle ken die verwysing. They know the reference. So that's what makes it so pertinent. Okay, so applicable. Skitter. Okay, so that word skitter, what a beautiful word. And this is just at the infancy of Afrikaans language. Dui weer op die weerlig wat flits. Okay, so again, it refers to the lightning, perhaps the sun. We're not 100% sure, it could be both. Sy vertel die winde van die dans. So the rain, she's the rain, right? She's the goddess in terms of nature. She tells the winds, she says, come, I invite you over to the wedding. Come to the wedding, please. She invites the winds. Why does she need the winds? She needs the winds to push her into the right areas of the desert, isn't it? Okay. Die reën het mag oor die ander natuurelemente. That's what I said. So the rain has power over the other elements of nature. She has everything in the palm of her hands, because if it don't rain, you don't live, man. It's no growth. Okay. Just moving that down a bit so we can see here. Die bruiloft. Now, this is an interesting one, and I think most analysts of the poem miss this, right? A wedding. So that's a pretty strong metaphor, pretty strong comparison. What does it mean? Die geleentheid is soos 'n partytjie by 'n troue. So this event, geleentheid, is like a party at a wedding. This rain in the desert. Who's getting married? That's what I would ask. Wie dink jy trou in die metaforiese bruilof? Wie trou met mekaar? Well, the rain is the one party. The rest can only be nature, isn't it? And when I say nature, I mean the ground, the plants, the animals. It's a marriage, it's a big party between them. It's more than a friendship. It's a romantic display. It's a romantic connection, relationship that they have with each other. Something very, very beautiful, something more beautiful than a friendship. Clever, hey? Eugene Marais. Okay, I mean, he won. Wow. Some guy in the Netherlands plagiarized his scientific work on ants. And I believe that he was addicted to morphine and he eventually committed suicide, right? But wow, what a brain to think of this when a language is still in its infancy. It's incredible. Okay, so then line number 9. I just said it's quite a long line, right? Check. There's only one that's longer. She invites them, want die werf is groot. The yard is big. What is the yard? Okay, I should maybe have taken a note on that. Die werf, let's just put it in there. So die werf would be the woestijn. Okay. Die werf is die woestijn. And die bruiloft. So that's die bruiloft groot. Why is it so long? I was asked that. Why is the line so long? The function of that. Well, it indicates that this is a big event, so it's a long line, right? There's going to be a lot of guests, and it also indicates how grateful and how thankful people are for this rain. So, okay, so then we see the animals reacting, the groot wild. So groot wild are big game, right? So you're talking eland, gemsbok, blauw wildebeeste. What else do you find in the desert? I think you find lions. Do you get lions in the desert? I think you do. I think I saw something like it. Anyway, but I think it's more like a deer kind of vibe. Buffalo, maybe? I don't know if you get buffalo in the Kalahari, but it's big animals, right? They move. Look at, and most people miss this. I don't know how you miss this. Die groot wild jaag uit die vlakte, hulle dam op die bulttop. They go from the valley to the bulttop. They run up. They go up from the valley up. Why? They're so keen for the rain that they want to get closer to it, right? Nader, not naber. Yeah, look at that. I turn letters around. Beweeg nader aan die reën. Hulle is desperaat vir die reën. They are desperate for the rain, so they go closer to the rain. And those fine spore that they refer to, those are the little puffs of, those little marks, those little dots that the rain will make on the sand as it lands on the sand. And then it says, sorry, just going back a bit, dam op. It's an interesting choice of words, isn't it? So if you say, as you say, die diere dam op, or the dam op means they come closer, they collect, they get closer together, they stand in a group or a herd. That's one meaning. So the animals herd up, they kind of herd up and they go up onto the hilltop to await the rain. But dam op is more commonly used to refer to water damming up, like you would use it in English. It's damming up. Okay. So perhaps, I mean, these animals are smart, so perhaps they go to a place where they know some water would dam up if it rains really hard, so they can drink more. Perhaps it's some kind of watering hole that they're running to, because they can smell the rain. So it's got a double meaning. I just thought that it was interesting. Die wild staan naby mekaar, so they dam op. Okay, so they collect together because they're excited and they're going up the hill, by the way. And then of hulle staan dalk op 'n plek waar die water gewoonlik opdam. So they know the places where if it rains hard in the desert, the water will collect, so they can really drink a lot of water. Okay, so big animals can drink liters and liters of water. Wyd trek hul neusgate, so their nostrils stretch out wide, really emphasizing how they're sniffing in the smell and their love and anticipation of the rain. Wow, this poem is long, man. We really taking our time here. Okay, okay, so inkeping again. So line 11 and 13, there's inkeping again. So now you can't say it's how the storm is moving because it's talking about the animals. So here you have to, maybe it's the, you know, when animals move, it's to and fro, it's not uniform, it's not an exact pattern. So it just emphasizes the movement of the animals, isn't it? De op die groot wild se beweging na die top van die bult. Kleinvolk, they're going to ask you this, what is the kleinvolk? These are the insects, the worms, and the small animals under the ground, like little lizards and things, those bugs and things that you find in the desert. And it's also a lang reël, en het dui op die hoeveelheid klein diere. I was typing that, I got a phone call, I remember that now. It's also a long line, it's the longest line. And you know how many little critters there are in the desert, little scorpions and things. They all like the rain. Okay, snakes. It could refer to any one of those. This is in contrast with die groot wild, you klein volk. Okay. And they sing, eh? The klein volk sing. Not interesting, the groot wild didn't sing, but yeah, we get direct quotation. And they sing it. What does it indicate? It indicates their blydskap, their happiness about the rain. And look at how they repeat everything. Ons sister, repetition. Herhaling. Jy het gekom. Beklemtoon die blydskap en die verligting that they are receiving. All animals panic. They're in a constant state of stress about what? About water. Okay, that's what it's all about. Again, her krale skit, again, that reference that is very unique to the reference framework of the San people, isn't it? Krale skit, weer 'n metafoor van die San se ervaringsveld, their frame of reference. It pins down or explains their frame of reference. It could also indicate the thunder. Haar koper ringe blink, her shiny armbands, copper. Of course, the San would have eventually had copper from the copper age of, I mean, they came over or past after the Stone Age, or even through the Stone Age. We're not sure about the San, but yeah. By the way, we don't know whether the San were here in prehistoric times, and we know that from their art. Because the San people and the Khoi people only drew in the caves, they only drew animals that we know about. The leopard, the eland, the reedbuck, the mountain reedbuck, the duiker, the bushbuck, and other birds and things, right? They don't draw, for example, mammoths or dinosaurs. So that's kind of a telltale sign that they are not prehistoric. Whereas if you look at caves in France, those people draw prehistoric animals from before the last ice age. That's just an interesting point, sorry. Whoa, that's way off topic. Okay, so we talk here about die wegraak van die son. The sun is disappearing. Why? Because the storm is pulling in properly. Op die groot vlakke kan mens verby die storm sien. I'm saying you can probably see past the storm that there is the sunshine there, and that the storm will be temporary. Just like any wedding celebration, right? It's temporary. So any party is temporary. You know what you're going to do tomorrow. Okay, maybe not tomorrow. You might be a little bit hungover after a wedding party, but maybe the day after. Die bergier. Okay, so die bergier is It's a tricky one. I researched this a bit because I wasn't sure. I'm still not really sure, to be honest. But I think it's an eagle, or an osful is a vulture. It's a vulture with red feathers. Perhaps the bearded vulture, because it does get quite red because of the clay and stuff that it nests in. And it's got that red glow on his feathers. But then again, the bearded vulture is it's more a Drakensberg Mountain kind of bird. So I'm not sure about this, right? I'm not sure, but I think if you say Arend or Osful, you will get your marks. But the exact species, I would have loved to know the exact species. If you're a teacher and you're listening and you know the answer, please enlighten me, because I couldn't. What are those? I don't know birds. Those big eagles that catch the snakes, they walk around in pairs. I don't know. But it could also refer to the sun's red shine, red kruisskynsel, the red reflection of the sun after the storm or behind the storm. Okay. And I suppose, yeah, the vulture is a bird that could be normally happy with a drought, because when it's dry, animals die and they can eat. Here, if it rains and everything is alive, then they don't eat. So as she comes in, she's got the crown. The vierpluim could be like a type of a crown that she wears on her head, that she's taken from the vulture. I think it's stretching, it's reaching for a little bit too much meaning there. Personally, I feel that. I think we just have to take that at face value, really, if we see it in the context of the poem. So don't worry too much about the vierpluim. Vierpluim just refers to the feathers of the vulture that is red, just like the sun. It's just a comparison. I don't think we should read anything more into that. Sy trap van die hoogte af. She steps down so remember we had the Biltop, so the top of the mountain, and the rain's coming, rain's coming, and then it comes down the hill, and then it's boom onto the valley, and it's raining. And it's a powerful metaphor. Sprei die val karos. Wow, that's beautiful. The pale leather or skin blanket karos is spreading its arms over the valley like a big grey blanket. The rain sits over the valley. You can picture it in your mind's eye. How beautiful is that? Okay. Die asem van die wind raak weg, and the wind disappears. Why? Because it brought the rain. So here's your rain, cool, my job's done, I'm disappearing, and the rain sits, and you can just picture it raining and hitting that desert floor, and the steam coming up from the desert. Beautiful imagery in this poem. And then the repetition of die dans van ons sister. Wow, running away from my notes. Die bruiloft is now in full swing. So the party is in full swing. Oh, the dance of our sister. I just said here, die volkeros, die veldkombers van die sun. So that's their blanket, right? They use skins as blankets. It's a goeie metafoor van hoe die reën uitsak oor die vlakte. There's your note. And then asem van die wind raak weg. Die wind het sy werk gedoen. The wind did its job. It brought the rain. Dit die reën gebring. Nou val die reën behoorlik. Now the rain is starting properly. Die bruiloft is in volle swing. The party is in full swing. There's no rhyme in the poem. Interesting, eh? Okay. That fits in with the movement of the rain and the movement of the animals. Okay. Doesn't it? It does. I think so. And all that inkeeping and all the spacing and things. Okay. Progressie is belangrik. So progression is important in the poem. So just note how the rain comes closer, and then the climax comes in line 22. Skaam loer saggies, lag saggies. It's like the storm is flirting with the valley, and then she like a bride. Hey, you see her, you don't see her. Was that the bride? Not sure. And then she arrives in all her glory, and then the marriage takes place, and then the party, and it's just this massive climax of beauty. Okay. Wow. Okay, so that's a lot of talking by Henk. I hope that makes Afrikaans a lot simpler. Please help me to, if you find this beneficial, you have to share it. It's your duty. It's your moral duty. I'm just kidding. But if you can, please do it. I would highly appreciate it, and it will give me energy, and it will give me hope, and it will do good things in your life because you've shared the goodness and you've spread the love and the energy. Hope that helps. That was a big job. I love the support. I love the positivity and the comments that I'm getting. Thank you so much. Please find all the details that you need in the description of this poem, okay? And then we'll see you for the next one.